I was falling.
Yeah, we both were.
Where are we?
You very clearly said we had to follow this gross tunnel and look for shelving.
Shelving? I don't know what that means.
Neither do I, but I listened to you.
Where's Agatha? Where's Rio?
You told me that they
Teen
were...
kicked us off the road.
The son of the Scarlet Witch kicked us off the road.
What? Teen is the son of the Scarlet Witch? How do you know? I told you.
Yeah.
Hey, panelists, welcome back to the show. I'm Mark.
And I'm Becky.
And I'm Steve.
And this is Panels of the Pixels podcast.
This is a spoiler-filled podcast about Agatha All Along, Episode 7, Death's Hand in Mine. The synopsis for this episode is, those remaining suffer the hand they are dealt on the next trial.
I see what they did there.
Yeah.
And
It's fun to go back and read the title after you've watched.
Yeah, a lot of cards.
Yeah.
All right. So with that, we already said it's spoiler full. So if you have not watched it, why are you here? Go back, stop the podcast, go back and watch, come back to us, and then listen. And then for those of you like me who like to be spoiled, please stay and listen and let's have fun. All right. So first impressions of the episode as a whole. What did you guys like about it? Overall, story-wise, character-wise, where it's going at this point in course, because we're episode 7 into 10 episodes so far.
9.
I think.
Yeah, it's only 9.
Yeah, we got 2 episodes left.
Oh.
I think Patti LuPone absolutely killed it. This is my favorite episode of the season. I love how early on you got so many different little puzzle pieces, and then the way they absolutely brilliantly put them all together. I think it was a very sad but beautiful ending for our sweet Lilia. And once again, absolutely amazing costume and visuals.
Yeah, I'm excited to go because I watched this one 3 times. I just got done watching it for the 3rd time here just a little while ago, and each what I've discovered for this particular episode for sure is every watch I've picked up on a little bit more, and I'm excited to when it's all done to go back and rewatch because like I didn't catch in the cabin when she said I didn't like this the first time we did it.
Yeah.
Apparently that it's in there, so I didn't catch it when it in that episode. So it's going to be cool to go back and see those scenes again and realize how the writers and directors and storytellers really put this very Tarantino-esque kind of story together to make it all link and then to show us in this episode. I called it it's almost a homage to the Butterfly Effect, if you remember. The Ashton Kutcher movie, where he kept going back and forth in his
and
in
trying
his
to
life.
change time. Yeah,
but he was actually trying to change things instead of just living it again.
Mhm.
But that's what it reminded me. Like the very first time I watched it, that was the first thing that it reminded me of was, oh, this is kind of like she's going back into different she's living different periods of her life, which I was, and each time I've watched it, subsequently I've figured out more of the story, which is really cool.
Yeah. I like the Tarantino comparison. That's a good one.
Yeah, it's very Reservoir Dogs, very Jackie Brown kind of storytelling way of doing things. I think Jackie Brown kind of had a similar kind of back and forth kind of thing, but Reservoir Dogs definitely had a back and forth kind of.
Yeah, honestly, in my opinion, it reminded me just like you, Steve, with the whole Tarantino thing with Reservoir Dogs and Jackie Brown and everything else. But Memento. because
Yeah.
not that she had anything written on her arm or anything like that in that case, but she did remember a lot of things. But the fact that, oh my God, Patty LuPone was amazing in this, and she should get an Emmy for this
Yeah.
particular role in this particular show, in my opinion. And if they're not paying attention, they need to pay attention. She's of age. She's been there for years, but I think with what she was able to project within the character, did perfectly in resonance to the younger character version of her. When we see her at the very end, and we do get to see her in the very beginning young as well too. So I think it comes full circle, like a full. It's a whole sandwich. It comes
Absolutely,
together, and it's for us to ingest at that point. And the fact that Lilia didn't realize that through their journey with with Agatha all along during this whole road, she didn't realize this because her memories were dampened throughout this because of all the spells and everything that was going on. So, but she was always there constantly, and she was a constant. But the fact that, at the very end, she was sucked into the mud, but yet still alive and still brought out and still was able to get redemption within this. And at the very end of this episode, we see an end to her. Yeah, spoilers, everybody.
But
There's
you
an
see
end
a
to
beginning.
Yeah.
but you do see the beginning.
Yeah.
Well, I love
And
that
the
because,
end.
throughout the whole episode, she kept saying, I was falling. I am falling. I'm going to fall. You had she went through all of those different stages until the end when we see her let go of the table and actually fall onto the swords that are now upturned because the tower has turned up. Jumping to the end of the episode, we see, is this the end of the 7 as well?
I think so.
It
I don't
looked like,
know. We didn't see all 7 skewered.
I was wondering that. Thank you. I was wondering that myself because it only looked like I was trying to count as they were moving.
I had to go back twice.
And I only
I
counted
didn't see
5.
all of them.
Yeah, so there might be a couple more still out there somewhere that are
Also,
existing.
can we reference something that's symbolic in storytelling out there? Alice in Wonderland. Alice was falling.
Yeah.
very
The
similar.
Wizard of Oz. I mean, obviously, the Wizard of Oz is a huge. The Alice
that's
in
another one,
Wonderland
too.
The Alice in Wonderland has been a constant throughout this whole. And I went back and I listened to a couple of other podcasts of the previous episodes of other podcasters to hear what they're thinking of, and that the Alice in Wonderland motif has really been throughout the episode, even to the point of thinking about, like, it's not a yellow brick road, but it's the witch's road. They're on the witch's road. You have those images in the credits at the end of every episode where there's definitely some Alice in Wonderland, Wizard of Oz, Alice in Wonderland images that we see in those credits while they're rolling. So all those things are playing into it, and
They're prevalent.
Yeah.
I really do enjoy that. The fact that they're trying to incorporate everything that's fairy tale, storybook, and mystique into this world. And it's really cool in the sense that it gets us enraptured to actually watch every week for every episode. So
what's going to happen next?
What's going to happen next?
And it's fun to watch and try to figure out, okay, that relates to this. Like last week's season or episode 6, all about, the cabin or episode 5.
Yeah.
Whichever one, all about the cabin and watching and picking out whatever horror movie. And that's what I love about the show, among many things. But if you don't watch Marvel, you can still watch this show in any genre at any age, and you can still get something out of it.
Mhm.
Yes, that's what I like for the fact that you could just literally pick up at this show and get something out of it that you like. And it doesn't, all you're doing is following the characters within said story. But if you wanted to continue it, you could go into the Marvel Cinematic Universe if you wanted to. But yeah, it's amazing in how with the writing and what they're doing. So I think they're following the same footprint that they did with WandaVision, as
Yeah,
well
it's very
as a few
close.
others.
There's some similar. There's definitely some similarities. You can definitely tell the shame the the same showrunners are doing it. This is almost, it's been talked about. This is almost a second season of
Of
WandaVision,
Wanda.
Yeah.
not just a spin-off kind of thing. I mean, it technically, I guess technically it's a spin-off of WandaVision. It's not a second season, but it's definitely, you can definitely see those same motifs to the point where, one of the other podcasts that I listened to, it in Agatha All Along, it might have been the Marvel Cast one that Podcastica does, where they talked about the aspect ratio of changing in between episodes
A 4
of
by
the
3
actual,
to
yeah,
16
of the
by
actual,
9.
the way it was filmed and the way it's then projected to us on our screens, which they did that, with WandaVision throughout the whole season, to where they changed it as it went along until they caught up to the modern era. So
Yeah, we had a lot of stuff within the episode that I'm going to start off because it's kind of like the elephant in the room. So seeing all the witches from Disney and Oz films in their glory in one scene. So we get Lily as Glinda, the Good Witch from The Wizard of Oz. We got Agatha as the Wicked Witch of the West from The Wizard of Oz as well. Jennifer Kale as the Old Witch from Snow White.
She's the
yes,
hag.
yes. Yes, I
And
love that. So demeaning.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's so demeaning, but the thing is, she's more beautiful than the old hag that we got in Snow White, honestly.
Yeah, it was just funny. Every time Lilia tried to ask her questions about it, she said, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
That's one of my quotes.
Yeah, exactly, right? And then we get Teen, or also known as Billy Maximoff, as Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty.
Yes.
I liked that choice for him because he's right, the cheekbones don't lie. But I like, I didn't pay much attention to Maleficent in the Disney scenario. I wasn't a big Sleeping Beauty fan. And then my husband and I decided to watch the movie with Angelina Jolie, and I was like, oh, she was just misunderstood.
Yeah,
She was a
exactly.
good person, but made to, due to circumstances she didn't have anything to do with, she got mad and she did some things. And I feel like that is a very good mirror of Billy,
Yeah.
aka I'm still calling him Teen in my notes.
Everybody
Teenager,
calls him
to
Teen.
to use his full name.
Yeah.
You're killing me. You're using all my quotes, Steve.
Sorry. We can still do them again. That's fine. It won't hurt
This
me
is
to do
how
them
we
again.
roll,
I
everybody. You
love
guys
it.
know this. We just have casual talk. We have fun. So, anyhow, so basically, we get to this point where they're all in this world and they're all in these guises. And it's like, oh, and everything comes out. But Lilia brings truth to everything that was happening from the very beginning to the very end. And we see it play out in the middle at this point with everybody in between. And it's so sad. To me, it was like, oh, wow.
It was sad that she had to basically sacrifice herself
Yeah.
to save the group, but what
But
she learned and how she, how they've all grown, except for Agatha, how they've all grown. And when she hit the coven card and went back to the flashback with her talking with her teacher, and then her realizing the love in the community. And like Stevie said earlier, she's like, I used to hate you all, but now I love you. It was such a beautiful growth, and to watch her figure out each phrase that she'd said, each thing as it played out,
Mm-hmm.
understood it, realized she was the focus of the trial, completed the trial, and
And then
ended
took her
herself
power.
by
Yeah.
saving everyone else.
Well, I love
Mm.
you're talking exactly how she takes that power there at the end, because she puts all the gaps together. She says, "Oh, I put all the gaps together." And then she's facing the 7 or 5 or however many of them there are by herself, and she says, "Oh, you didn't realize that when someone successfully completes a trial like I just did, it's dangerous to stick around."
Yeah.
And so you see, she gets her power back. And even though, yeah, it is sad that she apparently, we won't know for sure, obviously, she appears to die, but she gets that power, she gets her power back, or realizes she had the power all along,
Yeah.
depending on who you believe, and she's the one who she slams the card down and says the tower is upright again, or is reversed again, or how, what I just thought it just was amazing when you watch it, particularly the third time, watching how powerful that scene is of her just staring down all of the Salem 7 and looking at them and going, "This is very dangerous." Each one
No
of them are coming.
fear.
Yeah, they're all coming into the room. You got the rat coming in, the fox coming in, the bird flying in, and all the different creatures, the snake, all coming in, and you can see that those are the familiars, or them, they shapeshifted in or whatever, But she's looking at all these kind of scary animals, and she's not scared at all. She says,
No,
"I've
she had
got."
no fear.
Yeah.
She knew she was about to die, and she was like, bring it on. And
Mhm.
then she falls, and then we're right back to that sunny, almost made me think, I don't know what your faiths are, but it almost made me think of like heaven. It was just bright, and she's in the yellow, and it's her
Mhm.
color, right?
Yeah. She's
Just
moving on.
yeah, but she's starting over
Yeah.
fresh,
Yeah.
but now it's almost like if you looked at her face, she's like, you almost could sense she brought with her what she just learned. So this next life, or however you want to look at it, she's going to be better. It's going to be happier. It's going to be a brighter life for her.
Yeah.
That's how I saw it.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. Is that she's going back to the beginning, but now she's
It's cyclical.
but now she knows that everything is connected. It's the
Yeah.
Ouroboros, the snake eating itself.
Exactly.
That it's
Yeah.
going right back to the beginning. So yeah, I that was so brilliant.
But she's more aware of it, and it literally, it's like it's a cyclical thing, but the fact that she realized it towards the end, and then starts over again, and then begins that journey again.
It makes me think of, what we've all probably said once in our lives. If I knew then
What I do
what I
know
know
now.
now, and it's almost like she does know then what she knows now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to go back to before they get to the castle and talk a minute about Agatha and Teen's conversation. Two
Okay.
things that Teen said that I found interesting was, one, when she mentioned Wanda being his mother, he's like, she's not my mom. I have a mom. I thought that was,
Yeah.
I'm curious to see if they dive more into that, but I thought that was a very
They didn't get into that, but for the fact
interesting
that
comment.
you have to realize too, with Wanda Maximoff, what she had done in WandaVision was create these children, Billy and Tommy, and they were fictitious in her mind and magical.
Yeah.
They're magical in the sense that they were still remnants in that world in Westview in a sense where they could encapsulate other bodies, very much like Peter Maximoff or Tommy Maximoff going into other bodies. I would not be surprised not that only that we have Billy now, but at the very end, we get Peter Maximoff, her twin brother, in another body, which could be Ralph Boner. And
Well, I
again,
think what Becky's pointing out though is the question that he asks. It comes the statement he makes about I have a mother is because there's still that William who's bleeding through. And that's
Right.
when they bring him when he's at the table and she says, "What's the question that you're going to ask?" His question is, "Am I Billy or am I William?" Which
okay,
am
I see it.
I don't think it's. I think what she's getting at is the fact that when they're on the road in that conversation, there he's still talking about the fact that I have parents, I have a mother and a father back in Eastview.
Yeah, exactly.
So but yeah, those others are true too. I mean, I think we're going to see. I'd be very surprised if we don't at least see a version of Tommy, or we get his spirit out there somewhere.
And
I think
another
they
body.
have to give it to
Yeah.
us, given that he woke up saying Tommy's name, and then that's why he wants to be on the road. I do also like, what'd you do? Oh.
Little fish
Super
running
fast.
across the
Yeah.
screen.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I know. And
I
that's the
do-
whole thing.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Mark.
No. I like you said, we're going to get a version of Tommy that wakes up in somebody else's body and runs really fast and goes to Tommy and
Yeah.
Billy's aid.
yeah. We
Same
may or
thing
may
with
not,
Peter
like I said,
Maximoff too,
yeah.
as well.
I don't know if he'll be in body form.
Yeah, I don't think Peter. I don't think we're going to get Peter. I think they're done with that side of the. I mean, it could happen. I'm not saying it won't because you've been right. There's been lots of times that
I know, it's in my notes again.
Oh,
that
about
he's figured
something
that-
I mentioned about this episode that
Yes.
came true.
that you figured out. So we could see Peter Maximoff. I don't see why they would go that direction, but they could. But I definitely think we're gonna, at the very least, I'd be surprised if we don't see some sort of indication of Tommy's spirit out there.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah.
I
Looking
think
for
he'll
a body.
find him, but I don't know that he'll find a person named
I
Tommy
agree.
that he can reach out and embrace. But if
Right.
they happen to bring out the pinball wizard, that would be pretty freaking
Yeah.
cool.
That would be amazing. That's a good way of describing him. Holy crap. But yeah, I would love that for both of them too, because you got Peter, the uncle, who's a speedster, as well as Tommy himself. And it'd be so great to have them both in spiritual form. But when it comes to the cinematic universe after this, I'm sure whatever spawns out of this will go into that.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
why they hired this particular person to be Billy in this particular series. So I don't think this is the last that we're going to get to see of Joe Locke as, teen or, Billy Maximoff. And then I'm looking forward to whatever they give us, honestly.
Yeah.
But to go on, as you already kind of segued into earlier, Becky, yeah, I kind of mentioned that we do get the overwhelming thing that was involved, and that is one real Vidal exposing.
Wait. Before we get there,
Go ahead.
hold that thought, because I want to finish before
Yeah,
we get
back on the road,
before
on the
we get back
conversation.
to the
All right.
end. I want to finish the
All right,
road
good.
before we get to the castle. But hold on to that thought. You will
All
get
right.
your props. I promise.
Okay, good.
But segueing into what we get at the end of the series, when Teen asked Agatha if he saw Wanda's body, and then she's like, yes, and he knows her reality wasn't everybody else's. He's
Mhm.
like, did anybody else see her? And she was like, I don't know. And I appreciate them writing that in, because that gives them the opportunity, if they choose. If they don't, it'll still be epic, I'm sure. But
It'll
that
bring
gives
her
them
back.
an opportunity to give us some kind of
Yeah.
Wanda at the end of the episode, at the end of the series.
Well, we
Yeah.
already know about multiple Wandas because of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness that
I don't.
Steve and I had discussed a year or two ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we already know because there was that Wanda that actually had to deal with that other Wanda that died and perished and during that particular film. So we already know, but the thing is within this world of Westview and everything, and her magic's still there. I think there's still a presence of Wanda that could still bring her back in physical form. Not just magics, but also the extra that we get out there when it comes to with X-Men and everything else. Because as all you panelists know and are comic enthusiasts know that Wanda Maximoff was a mutant in the comics. But in this, what did they call them? Special people or something like that. And because Marvel couldn't really equate to it. And then now they've acquired the idea of doing mutants. So I would not be surprised if Wanda Maximoff, this Wanda Maximoff that we know, comes back in some way. And that's probably why. We don't know.
Well, they opened the door, and I liked that they did that by acknowledging, it's a sensible question that one would ask. Did you really see her? And is she really dead? I thought that was a great.
Did you see a body? Did anybody else see a body? Yeah. Those. Yeah. I think for sure. I think there's definitely a possibility of us seeing a Wanda at the end of this series, whether this season or series, for sure.
Maybe facing off against Mr. M and Miss D or whoever. Who knows? But we'll get into that more or less when we get more into more discussion. So,
does anybody have anything else to say about the road before we get to the castle?
The yellow brick road was really scary.
No, I think we're all right there. Just this. That whole conversation was interesting. I'm trying to see if there's anything in the transcript that I. There's an implication that Billy gives that there's a possibility that Agatha never actually did walk the road.
Yes, that's one of my notes too.
That's part of that conversation before we get to the castle, to where she says something about the road, and he says, "Well, I don't think you ever actually walked the road," know. And so suddenly we have this question, and this is what other podcasts have brought up, is whether what we're seeing is Billy's magic piggybacking on his mother's magic of just extending
Agatha's.
the Westview kind of experience of creating a reality. That's what I was going for. That he's creating this reality of the road, that it's not actually the witch's road. It's what he's creating as a reality around him. And, there's indications of that from when you go back to the previous episode, the posters that are in his room, the things that are around him, that all point to, the fact that Alice was the cop that found him in the wreckage. That Lilia was the. But what I'm saying is, is the consideration is that he's using those people.
Mm-hmm.
It's not remnants of it. He's using those people to create a new reality. That's not necessarily what they are.
Wanda was too, right?
Exactly. No, that's what I'm saying. It's he's piggybacking off from. This is not my theory. I don't want to claim credit for this because I didn't see this at all. Other people have put this out as a theory that he's piggybacking off from the reality that she created, and is extending that to now the road to find Tommy or whatever his goal is. So,
and it made me think that if she had never been down the road before, if you go back to every trial, she really, a lot of her facial expressions and hesitancy to participate in the trials would make a lot more sense if
This
she's
is
never been
fresh
down
and
the
new.
road before.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
never at least been down this
This one.
version of the road.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Because it's more imaginative and it's more convoluted. And she was like, wait, this is not what I experienced before. Yeah, I
And
get
Billy
that.
was with her when every
And he-
single member of the coven,
and
he
it-
was
it-
with her,
Yeah.
except for Mrs. Hart.
But the funny
But
thing
she was
is
already in the neighborhood.
it
Yeah.
could be remnants of what Wanda had left behind in Westview within Teen or Joe Locke or Billy, as it were, and then creating this, and through him, she is reinventing herself. And then with that, they're defying something that we're going to talk about soon. I will bring up something that I did enjoy because, sadly enough, we lost somebody in the rock and roll and heavy metal community, and that was in Iron Maiden within the past 2 weeks. I'm a huge Iron Maiden fan. Paul Di'Anno was a huge singer and for the first 2 albums of Iron Maiden, but they do make a reference with Iron Maiden within this particular episode, which I do love. So I have to throw that in there. It's musical and it's something I love. So, but basically, the fact that Lily has sacrificed herself for the ladies and the journey and is somewhat through the journey was good. The ending was great from the song that Jim Croce had done. But she does make a reference in that. So we're all going to go into the Iron Maiden to get out of here. And
Yeah.
I thought it was amazing. So I thought with the fact that Paul Di'Anno has passed and has left us within literally the same week this episode dropped, I was like, oh, this is perfect.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, this could be something I'm putting in my head, everybody, but you could be like, yeah, delude yourself, Mark. Yeah, that's fine. But I really liked it for the fact that they do mention it because an Iron Maiden back in medieval times was a form of torture.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I don't know if a lot of you know that. It's literally, it's like a casket with
Spikes.
spikes
Yeah,
inside
spikes
of
and
it.
stuff. Yeah.
And they throw your body in there, and then
Mhm.
they just shove it, and the spikes go right into you, and
Yeah.
then the blood bleeds out. So I thought it was interesting the fact that within the same week that this episode comes out, Paul passes away. But a lot of love for Paul Di'Anno. Thank you for the music. It's always out there. And for you Maiden fans, sorry, my condolences as well. But we did get a cool song at the very end of the episode
Mm-hmm.
with Jim Croce. And that was Time in a Bottle. And I played that for a bit, and Steve was like, why are you still playing this song? Why are you playing this song? I'm not going to play it now. But
That's a
Thanks.
good choice.
It's a good choice. Yeah, it was a good song. It's just I've just now heard it like 5 times now. So in like the last 20 minutes. So
he was like, Mark, can you turn it off, please?
yeah, and so the other thing that I caught it on my second viewing, and then subsequently on the third viewing, I made sure to pay attention to it was when Lilia and Jennifer are down in the wherever they were when they went under the earth, and they're trying to get back to Billy and Agatha. Lilia finds Billy's
Yes.
spell book.
Yes.
She finds it in the dirt there and gives it back to him at the end of the episode as he's walking into, as you just mentioned, Mark, the Iron Maiden. As he's walking, he hands it to her. She hands it to him, and he goes, "How did you get?" And she's like, "It's magic," And he just and so he got his spell book back, which I think that's good. There's going to be a key. That's got to be important. The fact that he's been using that spell book all throughout the series, and he lost it in the last episode, saying he dropped it. Or he didn't know where he had lost it, and so suddenly she finds it there.
Gets it back.
Yeah. So I think that was something to make a note of.
I like good, and I'm glad you brought up them being underneath the road because they had an option to leave. They had
Yeah.
a way out, and I think Jen was right there, ready to go. But
Hmm.
Lily is like, I have to go help them, and basically, you're my people. You can go if you want, but it'd be cool if you came with us. And of course, Jennifer makes the right choice and goes. But
Hmm.
it's just another amazing thing about Lilia. She could have bailed, probably saved her life, and she didn't. She chose to go help at least one really decent person.
Yeah.
Um, I like when they got there and Lily is upset about the mess on the table with the cards, and it's a very humorous moment with Agatha and Teen arguing. Well, she did it. No, he did it.
Yeah.
Just going back and forth about who made the mess on the board.
Yeah, and then I've got it in my notes when she asks who is the querent, and the querent, what's the querent, are we going to go through this?
Is he playing it?
I don't know why. We just talked about please
Oh,
don't.
hold
But
on. Sorry.
I,
I didn't know it was sharing.
it,
Sorry.
it was. So, anyway, but there's this whole moment with the querent, with who is the querent, and I'm just like querent, and it's like they all kind of go around the table about, because so yeah, that was funny. I thought that was funny, since we had the whole don't keep me in the closet last week or 2 weeks, or last or 2 episodes ago, don't keep me in the closet, kind of thing. So, and
That's
then
that was a good
That is.
yeah, and then
note.
the quote that I have, that when we get to quotes, when I'll say it now, when I've already kind of said it, was when they're taught, when he's asking her questions on the road, and she said, "Well, you want straight answers? Ask a straight lady."
Yeah.
So
That
making
was
that
good.
kind of
Yeah.
offhanded remark about the sexual orientation there. So
I really did enjoy the episode overall. Patty LuPone, amazing
yeah,
within the whole episode from beginning to end. Gives a great experience with the character and performance. And honestly, I'm still saying it right now. Emmy Award winning. Please give this a nod. If they don't, I'll be upset. I'm like, there are so many few fantasy, sci-fi, or dramatic stuff that is within sci-fi that that I cover, that I would say, yeah, I think she needs that, especially with her age. I think it's just desserts.
He does deserve it. I
yeah,
agree.
Yeah.
Um,
Can we talk about,
almost.
okay, fine.
Almost.
I'll
Couple
let
more
you
notes
talk.
before we get there. I'd like
Go,
to run through
go ahead.
the um first off how cool it was that they did the flashbacks back and forth between when she originally said what she said that didn't make any sense, and
hmm
then they did it again where we actually saw what was happening. And I said it earlier in my overall thoughts. I loved how they gave us the puzzle pieces again, but then we got to watch them put it together. It was almost
hmm
like uh, I don't know, a terrible reference, but it's the only one I can think of with a puzzle is Hellraiser, when you're watching the box put itself back together. That's how I saw that in my head, was like the matrix, or just a puzzle being put back
hmm
together. Um, and then that it was her that was in her hallucination in the first trial. I think I asked that question early on, who was that? And it was her. So
yeah,
that was that gave us clarification. And even the other lady we got to see, we realized who that was.
hmm
And what she said to Lilia, which you've got the transcript, Steve. I'm not 100% sure what it was, but I thought that was a nice, they gave us closure on that.
Yeah.
I liked the cards. I liked the meaning, the card they gave to each person, and I wrote them down. The Queen of Cups, which is Lilia's card, passionate, considerate, loving, intuitive. I think that was very fitting for her. The Three of Pentacles, which represented obviously her coven. Jen being the high priestess, and when I did some Googling, I kind of did a deep dive onto tarot cards, but I'll save you all a lot of that. But the high priestess, well, she said she was a leader, but it's also a lot of mystery and insight. So I'm still hoping we get more. I know we had her trial, but I'm hoping we get
Mhm.
more backstory on Jen and why she doesn't have her powers. Does she have her powers, but is she blocked and afraid to use them? I would like to know that. The Knight of Wands, all about bravery, which was Alice when she saved Agatha. Agatha was the Three of Swords, which is about grief, which leads me to believe that we still haven't gotten to the full backstory of her and her son. There's a lot more there. Billy being the tower, um, and that she mentioned when she gave him his reading that, the tower a certain way is avoiding disaster and coming close, but surviving. And that's Billy. Which brings me to what Mark is dying to talk about. We didn't see the card, but they did a great job referencing the death card.
Mhm.
You're right again, Mark.
Mistress
Take
Death.
it away.
Yeah. They kind of alluded this all the way back in WandaVision. That's all about death. And we've had people that were affiliated with Death herself. Unfortunately, within the MCU, we never got the true Infinity Gauntlet or stones, not gems, everybody. And the point of Thanos in the comics was in reference to appease the thought and love of death, Miss Death. So now we have Death coming in. And if you think about the show overall with WandaVision, WandaVision was revolved around dealing with death, Wanda dealing with Vision's death, and it was called WandaVision. And her thought after Vision had passed and her world, and like literally putting a spell over Westview and dealing with her grief. And everybody else had to deal with death, with surrounding Wanda during that time, whether it be Westview or Eastview at this point. People have encountered death. Even Billy, where he's now, as he's encompassing teen, which he doesn't know who he is. So these people are coming back in some way through this power. I think it's a manipulation of death. And we kind of talked about it during WandaVision because Mephisto has a hand in everything. So for those of you who do not read the Marvel comics back from like the late 60s, 70s, all the way into the 80s, probably into the 90s and the 2000s and the new millennium, Mephisto is literally the devil at a certain point. It's Marvel's idea of the devil. It's evil. But death is still death. But the thing is that we didn't get her in the whole Infinity Gauntlet or the Infinity Wars movies. So we didn't get her within that. So now we're getting her here in the mystical aspect, which is pretty cool. And I do admire it and I like it in the way they're structuring it and working it so that way they don't offend certain people within religion or anything like that. Honestly, it's its own new world. And that's the way to perceive it. if you're very religious, like a lot of people, and I understand that completely. You have to keep it in the same reference and framework of how Marvel does their writing. So basically, at the very end, she tells her, "Yeah, I'm Death." And she is Death, but she's always been there in Westview because that's where Wanda had died. That's where Vision was dead. That's where a lot of people had passed within Westview, and then people were reborn to manipulate. But who's manipulating Death at this point? Mephisto. So I think at the very end of this season, we'll get Mephisto. But until then, Death will be priority of what Agatha and the remaining few have to appease to get to her end result of what she wants to be and how she wants to enter this world again as. And I don't think Billy is going to be an issue. I said Tommy, but Billy. I don't think Billy's going to be an issue. Billy still will be there. Agatha will always be there. But anybody else next to them, they might be casualties. And that's just my prediction. But
I think it.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I think it was interesting when Rio revealed herself as actual Death. That I think, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong or if you disagree, but it would make sense that she isn't always with them on the road. She didn't show up until Mrs. Hart died.
Mhm.
And then
But
she
she
disappeared.
But she showed up at the very beginning of Agatha's story.
But Wanda was dead, right?
Wanda was dead, and that was what started it. It was like literally Agatha woke up from whatever, thought she was an investigator, went to the morgue as a detective, saw Ria Vidal, and Ria Vidal stated at the in the very beginning that this is not real. If you recall,
Well, so you think Wanda being dead wasn't real?
I think it was a way for Death to bring Wanda back.
I don't know. I'm
not
tracking that, but okay.
Out of the way. But this is Marvel lore and Marvel kind of writing. But I think they're going to try to get, and if we do get her at the very end of this particular series, I should say, season, if we do get our character back as WandaVision, that would be amazing. But yeah, amazing for the fact
I'm not it's possible, I guess. But no, I like. Yeah, I think it's it's clear that obviously I think what was really the other cool thing about that ending when they revealed Rio as being Death was that Billy kind of looks at Wanda and is like, I can't find it in the transcript, but where
I always like the bad boys.
Yeah, I always like the bad boys, and you realize that Wanda has known all along who Rio is.
Rio was.
She knew all along that Rio was Death. Agatha.
Oh,
Agatha
yeah.
knew.
I'm right along there with you talking about Wanda.
Yeah, I knew who you were talking about. I just had to correct it.
Agatha has known all along that Rio is Death, and she's just like, well, yeah, I like the bad boys, you know. So I thought that was really cool. That indication that she's known all along who Rio was, and just didn't tell anybody. So, and I'm with you, Becky. I think you're right that we didn't have Rio on the road until after Mrs. Hart died. Mm-hmm. We haven't really seen her unless there's death involved.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, we didn't see her in the last episode. We see flashes of her in this episode.
Yep.
And so I'm looking forward to see what we're going to see in the next couple of episodes with her.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting. I'm really, really curious about what they give us.
I have one question about a comment that Lily has said to Agatha, and you guys may not know and this may be something we just watch for in the next couple of episodes, but she looks at her and she says, when she calls you a coward, hit the deck.
I think that's another. When I watched that for the third time, and I heard her say that, I think that's going to be something in the future that she's seen.
Okay.
That if
So
that makes
so that doesn't reference something we've already seen.
I
Yeah,
don't
exactly.
think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. I
either,
think
yeah.
which may indicate that we're going to see Lilia again, some form of her, whether we see an astral projection of her or something,
flashback.
because she wouldn't know. I mean, she wouldn't know that unless she was present. Because like all the things we saw her know, like we get it told out of sequence where we see the scene where Agatha tackles her to the ground. And she says, "What are you doing?" And Agatha's like, "You were about to get skewered." And then it's like 5 or 10 minutes later that we see the scene where the sword is coming down toward Lilia.
Yeah.
And you realize that's the moment where Agatha tackled her to the that's the moment where Agatha sees the sword and tackles her to the ground. And we were watching it out of sequence, sort of.
Okay.
So I think there's going to be something that's going to happen out of sequence.
That's a good point.
That's someone's going to call. That's someone, and whether that someone is Rio or who it is going to call, or if there was a moment, and I don't know if there was a moment
from WandaVision?
That's what I'm
That's
thinking.
what
Is
I was like,
was
is
there?
it?
I'd have to go back to. I don't remember in WandaVision a scene where somebody called Agatha a coward, but maybe there's something in that happened in WandaVision that I don't. So we're gonna. I think we're gonna find out, but I think that's something that we haven't seen yet. I think that's gonna be a scene we haven't seen yet.
That's what I figured,
listeners
but
have
I didn't know
known-
if you guys.
Yeah.
You know more than I do, so I didn't know. I thought, okay, did this happen in WandaVision? But I'm excited. I'm not excited. I'm very interested to see what that means. And I love that that's a way to keep Lilia alive in the story, even though she's gone. Because I don't think I hope, as much as I love the other two the characters that we've lost, I don't know that bringing him back.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and there's still, I don't think Alice is coming back. I don't think Mrs. Hart is coming back.
No.
But I wouldn't be surprised to see Lilia come back. I definitely think we need to see more of Jin, because and I've got the transcript now in front of me. When they're going into the Iron Maiden, when she gives Billy the spell book, and he says thank you. And then she tells Jin to go, and Jin says, "I'm not going before you." And Lilia says, "You're the path ahead, Jennifer." And then sends her into the Iron Maiden. So I think something in the next episode is going to be possibly Jin's trial, or I know we talked about Billy having a trial.
Well, Jin's had her trial. She was the first trial.
You're right. So there must be something. There's got to be something more with Jin, though, because she's still alive. So there's going to be something more with Jin on the path ahead.
Same here. Yeah.
And
she was still stuck in the mud with Lillian, as I recall, right?
What? No.
Jen.
What do you? But no.
When?
I'm talking about the end of the episode. When
I
they're
know
all
the
going
end
into
of the episode. I'm talking about a couple episodes ago.
Yeah,
So
she was in the mud with
last episode.
Yeah, she was in the mud with Lilia and Jen, yes. But I'm talking about the end of this episode when they're going into the Iron Maiden. Jen is still dressed as the Hag Witch.
Yes.
And she pushes her into the Iron Maiden, and she tells her, "You're the path ahead," and then sends her on. No, they're not still. They're out of the mud. They got out of the mud.
I know that. I'm still think that, honestly, in my mind, I'm still thinking that she is still there constantly. I don't know why. In my head. And I watched everything, everybody. Yeah, I did. I know that she went into the Iron Maiden. She came out of the mud. But the thing is that Lillian had a proper send-off that we had seen. Now, we're probably going to get an astral version. But are we going to get an astral version of Jen now.
But Jen hasn't died yet. Jen was just
Jen's still alive.
Jen's still
yeah,
alive.
I know, but she was thrown into the Iron Maiden.
But that
Right,
was their
with everybody-
exit.
But that was their
Because
exit
they
out of
passed the
because there were
trial.
steps. Yeah, there were steps going up. There were
So
steps
that's
going up.
why Billy, Agatha, and Jen went into the Iron Maiden, because that was the exit after they
From that
passed
trial.
the trial. And Lilia had to stay behind to fulfill her destiny to kill the seven, or
Right.
part of the seven at least.
Right.
All right, so I'm catching up, basically stating that Jen could probably follow up at the very end. All right, yeah, okay. That she could be the one, be like Lillian at the very end. Lily. All right.
Yeah, she could have a sacrifice moment. She could
Yeah.
die.
Oh, I'm
we
sure
have
she.
no
I'm-
idea.
yeah.
That's what
I'm
my
sure
It's
thought
she's
in my
gonna
likely
head.
that
have.
she's
Yeah.
going to. But to touch on what you were saying, Steve, that what she said to her is, "You're the path forward."
Mhm.
Her card, the High Priestess, part of that is a leader. So she may be what's like Lilia was this time, to spearhead them being saved. Maybe
Mhm.
that's the end of Jen's path, but I want them to tell us who that weirdo was at the sink when the first trial, how she got her powers blocked. Give us her backstory, much like they did Lilia's this time, because they didn't give us any of that other than a hallucination with Jen. So they've
Mhm.
got to be saving that for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm still looking. I'm looking back at the transcript again, because there's that moment when we're seeing the flashbacks and we reveal that Rio is death, and we get that statement that Rio says, "You get your power and I get my bodies."
Yeah,
So-
when they were in
so-
not
When
the
they're in
cabin.
the cabin, yeah, when they're in the cabin, and then yeah, it's
The
all gets
recording
muddled, right?
booth.
Yeah, and then at the end, then it jumps to the cabin. So yeah, there at the end when she's filling in the gaps, we're getting all that stuff. But yeah, so I'm sorry, I was looking at the transcript again, but no, I'm excited to see where the rest is going to go. Like I said, Jen's got to have a part to play here.
A big one.
Whether it's going to be some sort of sacrifice, because if you look back, you can kind of see where Alice sacrificed herself. Here, Lilia sacrificed herself. Is Jen going to sacrifice herself? What's going to happen? So,
The last point I have is more just an observation. I'm glad the Salem 7 was brought back, because I was beginning to worry that it was going to be one of those plot lines they brought into the story and then they just disappeared.
yeah,
So I'm glad, and they had an intricate part in this episode, and I thought it was very cool CGI and editing when they turned from animal form into their creepy quote unquote human selves.
Yeah.
I love how they do that. They are
Yeah.
by far the creepiest villains I've seen in a while.
yeah,
I
for
agree.
sure. I like that we got a confirmation of what happened to Lilia's coven that made her so not want to be part of the coven. She says I saw all of them getting sick and dying, and that happened. And I wasn't able to stop it. She tells the teacher, her grandmother, whoever that was teaching her, she says I wasn't able to stop it. So I like that we got confirmation about what happened to Lilia's other coven, and why she was so reluctant to be part of a coven.
Mm-hmm. That was it. I'm glad we got that too.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten about that. I'm glad you remembered that.
I was looking at the transcript.
Cheater. No, I'm kidding.
No.
My last sentence here, two last sentences, is she gets to go back to the beginning, and I love that. I love the look on her face when she sat down and said, "I'm ready." And then time in a bottle, I think, based on everything in the episode, was a really good choice for the closing credits. And if you look, I've started looking at the closing credits because it seems that something from every episode is in the closing credits. And I remember seeing the tarot cards, but that table that's in the castle, I think is the same table that she's at with her teacher or whatever.
Oh, possibly. Yeah, it's probably a tarot table, a tarot card
And it
table,
looks
I would
like the
think.
same one in the credits with
Yeah.
the some of the similar cards.
Yeah.
Okay. Makes sense.
That's all I have.
That's all I've got.
No quotes.
The only other quote that I have that I think that I didn't do, I think I already said it, was the focus up Calderoo. We can be culturally offended later when Lilia was so upset about being dressed like Glinda the Good Witch and Jennifer being dressed up like the hag. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
We said all mine earlier. Steve.
Sorry.
No, I'm kidding. That just means I picked good ones.
Yeah,
you did.
You did. All right. I guess that kind of completes our coverage on Agatha All Along, Season 1, Episode 7. And we can move into where else can listeners hear us. So, Becky.
I can be heard here on Panels to Pixels and also on Adrenaline Cinema. And I would like to ask anyone listening to please check out my new podcast, thanks to the help of Mark and Pirate Corpse Entertainment, called What's On Tonight. It's a podcast about TV, movies, and more. And Mandy and I just finished recording our first episode where we cover the first 3 episodes of What We Do in the Shadows. And I would love it if all of y'all would check it out.
Season 6.
Yes,
Season 6, the final season.
Okay. Cool. Steve?
Right here on Panels to Pixels, you can hear me. I send voicemails to various other podcasts that our friends do, and that they indulge me and play those. That's about the extent for me right now.
And I'm going to make him say it here that he will be sending What's On Tonight a live Steve.
I will send a live Steve. I'm going to shoot for episode 4 of season 6 of What We Do in the Shadows, coming out October 28th. I'll shoot for sending a live Steve for that one because,
Awesome.
yeah, I'm excited. I love that. That's a show that I've been watching almost since it started, I think. And I didn't know anything about it until I think the TV show, and then I saw the movie and. Or I think I saw the movie. I'm trying to remember. Something happened at the end that I'm not sure if I saw the movie or not. I might have to go watch the movie again.
You probably watched the show, and then somebody said, "Hey, there was a movie," and you're like I did, and go, "Oh, wait."
Yeah, and then I'm not sure if I watched the movie or not. I seem to remember watching it, but then something happened, and I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things. Like you didn't know what came first, the movie or the show.
Yeah.
So.
Well, if you want to come on and do any episodes with us, let us know. And at the end of the series, we're going to do a series recap where we talk about the characters and favorite moments throughout the series. So if you want to jump on for that, please.
Yeah,
you're welcome anytime.
We can try to coordinate that up, set that up. Sounds good.
Awesome. Cool.
What about you, Mark?
Well, as everybody knows, you can hear me always here on House of Pixels podcast. As always, as we continue to do more stuff that was created from comics to movies to TV to animated, Steve is always here. So will Becky, as well as Rob Moda, and anybody who else wants to jump in and have fun in the conversation. But you can also hear me as well on Adrenaline Cinema podcast on the Pirate Core Entertainment as well. And there we cover action adventure films, suspense thrillers, all that stuff to get your adrenaline going, everything that's there. We had done, and as you've already heard her voice, Becky was on there for us with Interview with a Vampire and for Queen of the Damned. So we did cover that. We'll be back for Mayfair Witches Season 2 when it does come back. But we already did a brief overview of Mayfair Witches Season 1. But since it's the spooky season, and it is Halloween season, which I do enjoy and I love. I love the month of October because it's all spooky. I love anything Halloween. We have at least a good 3 episodes for you. So, first off, you'll get Friday the 13th Part 5 with myself and Jamie Dimmick. She and I cover Friday the 13th Part 5. And that's our ongoing legacy of Friday the 13th films from the Paramount series, as well as my friend Ben Elmore. And we're going to be doing Dracula 1931. So that will be coming out to you. And then our friend Billy Spaulding, who we had on for Adrenaline Cinema Podcast when we were doing Interview with a Vampire, as well as Queen of the Damned. He's going to come on and we're going to do Longlegs. And maybe at the very end of the month, right at the very tip of November, probably.
Just the tip.
Just the tip. Within the first 5 days, I would say, we're probably going to do The Substance. So if you have not seen the movie, go out there, catch it. It's on streaming. It's on a digital download. Very interesting movie. If you like Cronenberg's work with the Fly remake, Dead Ringers, anything Cronenberg has done, you'll find this interesting. Very cool. Awesome. But other than that, you could hear me here as always. Also, to look forward to more for the Pirate Entertainment Network. We are in the new year going to be, we're spotlighting basically Becky and her friend Amanda as they are doing What We Do in the Shadows. Billy is going to be doing Kevin. What is the name of the episode?
Kevin Can F Himself.
There you go. Kevin Can F Himself. That's on AMC Plus. It was a 3-season series, but he's going to be covering that. So I had a brain for it at a certain point, and I had to have Becky here as a reason.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah.
Oh, it's on Netflix.
It was
as well.
It was on FX, but now it's on. No, you're right. It was AMC Plus, but now it's
Originally it
on
was on
Netflix.
AMC.
Sorry, I forgot about that.
No, it's okay. But yeah, he's going to be covering Kevin Can F Himself. So we're going to spotlight those on the Pirate Core podcast. So you could check that out. And then they'll subsequently do their own thing. And then, that's something to look forward to into the new year, as well as I've yet to announce it. I don't have a name. Sorry. Nobody has given me a great name to talk about music. And I love music. So we're going to do something like that musically. And that's going to be part of the Pirate Core podcast. It's going to be twice monthly. And then we're going to talk about albums, artists, genres, producers, engineers, everybody that gets into it, and musicians. So that's going to be an individual podcast for Pirate Core Podcast. So keep aware of that. So other than that, that's about it. But for those of you who want to send in feedback, because we did announce when we were going to do this feedback and we never got any, just to let you know. You could easily go to our Facebook group, which will be facebook.com/panels2pixels. Literally, I put an image out there, everybody. All you have to do is leave your comments and thoughts in the image below of what episode we're doing. I did it for this one. We didn't get anything. It's not me complaining. It's just me stating. On top of that, whatever happens in Facebook goes into Instagram, so it's simultaneously. So literally all you have to do is put your thoughts and comments below the image. If you feel that you don't want to send those comments that way, and you want to send yourself a long-winded email like I used to do all the time to all my friends And I know Jason Gabassi used to hate it because he was like, "Oh wow, this is like 2 page. I have to abbreviate it." And he's done
Kind of
it.
like now.
Kidding.
I'm kidding.
It's okay.
That was funny.
He's true, everybody. I do talk a lot. So literally just email us panelstopixels1@gmail.com. Panels spelled out PANELS 2 and pixels and the number 1@gmail.com. Write yourself out a full long email. So that
It's a dissertation.
yeah, like a dissertation.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like a Bible, as it were. And just we could read it. And
Yeah.
it would be the word of yours. Anyhow, and if you feel like you don't want to do that, you want to just record yourself, say, I want my voice being heard. Literally, we all have these cool devices, phones, iPads, tablets, computers. In the event of COVID, we had headphones, microphones. You can record yourself. All you have to do is literally just record yourself, send it as an attachment, and it's as if you're on the podcast yourself. So we'll play that. We could be found also on YouTube. All you have to do is search for Panels to Pixels podcast. All one word. Panels to Pixels podcast. If you do Panels to Pixels, you're going to get Josh. He's the pretty boy with the nice, pretty hair in England, who's got the good accent. But I love Josh, and you could subscribe to him too as well, because I like to promote him as well. Anyhow, subscribe, ring the bell, and you'll see the artwork that we have for our podcast, and you'll know the difference, obviously. So do that, and then obviously if there's any rating or review for Apple Podcasts, Spotify, as always, please give us 5 stars if you like what we do. If you don't, fine, I understand. But please leave comments, because comments are key, whether they be negative or positive. If you like what we do, awesome. If you don't like what we do and there's something that you want us to change, let us know. There's always room for change. Anyhow, well, that about wraps up what we have for this week on Panels to Pixels podcast. I just want to thank everyone for listening. I'm Mark.
And I'm the original Green Witch.
And I'm Steve. I'm not a witch at all.
And I'm Frank Boner. Anyhow, same podcast, different panel, different pixel. This is Panels to Pixels podcast, and we'll see you on the next panel. Good night,
Spooky
everybody.
dreams.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.